And we are here with George Pasadakis.
There you go.
There we go.
Pasadakis.
Pasadakis.
And you are the
Director of Sales and Marketing
for Apex Management Technology. I'm sorry, Apex Technology Management.
There you go.
I got it here. I'm trying to read what I've written. Okay, so tell us what that is, and we're going to tell you why you're here. And
okay.
Then we're going to talk about why you're here.
Sounds good.
Tell us about Apex.
Okay, Apex is an IT services company. We've been around here in Reading and throughout the state since 1991, so quite a long time, seeing a lot of different technologies evolve over that time period. And we're what's called an IT managed services provider. So businesses typically with 20 to 250 employees can hire us instead of building their own internal IT department. It's very difficult and very expensive to build a full IT department with all the different skill sets that you need in today's age, including the cybersecurity threats, which maybe we'll talk about a little bit more later.
Oh, yes.
So they can hire us, and we have a team of over 50 people.
Oh, I was wondering how many people are out there right now servicing?
Yeah, so we have about 51 or 52 people. Okay. We're constantly hiring. That's a huge challenge for us, so we're always in that mode. And basically, we come into an organization, we have a formal onboarding process, and then once we do that, we manage their technology day to day. 24/7. So their servers, their workstations, their application environment, their networking, their cybersecurity, routers, firewalls, network switches, all of that, cybersecurity training. And we have a help desk here in Reading, so there's about 15 people full-time answering phones and emails that come in from our clients. If they have a small problem on their laptop that's not working well, they can call us, or a major system down type of an issue. And we can remote right on to their systems from Reading here and start troubleshooting the issue. But we really pride ourselves on being proactive. So we have about 105 what we call managed services clients that we are managing their IT, and we monitor everything 24/7. So if we see a system running slow or a hard drive predictive failure on a Dell server, for example, we'll get an alert and we'll respond to that 24/7 and work through that issue. So that's primarily what we do.
And then, so you must be doing a good job, because you just won the 2023 Managed Services Provider MSP of the Year Award by Channel Futures over 40,000 other companies.
Yeah, we're very proud of that. It's a very prestigious award.
40,000 other countries. A little Reading firm right here.
There you go. Yeah, there's managed service providers and all across the nation and all the cities. And Channel Futures, most people probably haven't heard of it. It's industry specific to our industry. It's like J.D. Power that rates car satisfaction, right?
Yeah.
People have heard of that.
Sure.
This is the organization that looks at the managed service provider industry, and they look at a number of benchmarks. How are we doing financially, no debt load? They talk to customers on how we're doing and are we effective for them, and what kind of value are we adding? And then they look at our business model. Is it set up well for today's day and age with everything that's going on, including cybersecurity? And then it's probably a 40-page application we have to fill out. We have to provide audited financial statements. So it's a pretty rigorous process. And we were selected, and back in November, they had their big awards gala in Miami Beach. So I was able to go to Miami, take my wife, some other people from Apex, and that's where we got that award. So
let's share with our listeners, if you don't mind, because I always love to hear the backstory. How did you, George, is this something you've been technical, what do you want me to say, geared towards technology, or, if you look about where you grew up, where did you get the inspiration? Tell us a little bit about your past and what led you to this organization.
Sure, it is an interesting story. So growing up in Southern California, Torrance, which is south of L.A., my parents owned beauty supply businesses. My dad was a hairstylist for 25 years.
So was my dad.
Really?
Yes.
Nice. Cool. And he had 5 salons and 3 beauty supply stores, and I worked in the summer, while I was going to school, in the business. And they actually, when I was graduating high school, signed me up for cosmetology school, right, which I didn't want any part of.
Okay.
I said, I'm not doing that. well, what are you doing? I said, I don't know, but that's not it. So we had a big fight, and I just wanted to hang out at Manhattan Beach with my buddies, and he signed me up. At the Greek church there, St. Catherine's Church in Redondo Beach, he was good friends with a guy named George Vasilikis, Greek name there. And he was the dean of the USC Computer Science School, pretty heavy duty. So my dad signed me up for a summer school computer programming class, and I said, I don't want to do that. I have to drive to LA every day. I said, I'll do it for a week. If I don't like it, I'm going to drop it. Well, I fell in love with it.
Wow.
And,
great story.
Yeah, so that's how I got into it. I went to school at Cal State Long Beach, got a degree in IT management. So I've been doing it for quite a while, since 1988. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I want to go, I'm going to take an early break because I want to get into how did the company get founded? And I see Matt's name in here as the president, and of course there you are. And then Mark Koopwood, the VP of Public Sector. But I want to talk about how did it start here in Reading? Yeah. And then never left.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's just take a quick break and we'll...
And good morning and welcome to our Wednesday edition here on the 24th of January. This is Carl and Linda Bott on KCNR 96.5 FM, 1460 AM. Oh, it's a rainy day, and that's what you're going to be seeing today with our temperatures getting around 53 and overnight lows with showers once again tonight of 45. Also streaming on KCNR1460.com. This portion of the show is brought to you by, yes, I love to send my friends there, at Four Winds Jewelry, located at 2225 Hilltop Drive, locally owned, integrity-driven, just for all your jewelry needs. The only full-service jewelry store in Reading.
And voted best in the North State on that Record Searchlight thing. We're here with George Pasadakis, who is the director... Dacus.
Long A.
Director of Sales and Marketing for Apex Technology Management, they just received the award in 2023 as being the best in the country at what they do over 40,000 other companies. So this is kind of really huge. This is a Reading company that started back in 1991.
Yep.
And so besides that, I mean, because it's obviously rigorous to be selected for this, and a great honor. And the fact you're right here from Reading, that probably a lot of these places are based in huge cities and things like that. So obviously the quality came to the top. But you all, one of your big things now is looking at security, information security. It seems like every day or on a regular basis you read about people getting their internet stolen, or all the records stolen, the money stolen, and all this. So this has become huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I get a letter at least twice a year saying I've got access to these credit checking agencies and all these others because they've lost all of my information to a hacker.
Right. Congratulations. Your data's been breached. We'll give you free credit monitoring for a year in case somebody does something. Now you got to clean it up.
So you said at the break, these are the golden nuggets that happened during the break, that you give presentations to the FBI with these security leaks that happen, and something recently happened with somebody with a very large sum where they didn't have the right, what would you call it, protection in place. So can you share a story like that with our listeners, and how we do then become secure, and what one can do?
Yeah, so with everything going on in cybersecurity, a business has to take it seriously. Even if you're a small business, you don't think you're a big target, it just in many cases happens automatically. Automated tools that are scanning the web looking for vulnerabilities, and if they find one, they're going to exploit it. And, we had a small medical office in town call us, and the lady on the phone was crying and said, I think I did something wrong. It wasn't a client of ours that we were managing. And she basically said somebody called her up and said they were from the Microsoft help desk, right? Everybody uses Microsoft for the most part. Or at least Carl does. Linda doesn't, but she's got a Mac. But anyway, it can happen to both. And she let them remote onto their machine to clean up her machine. They said it was sending out spam, and immediately locked her machine. She couldn't control it at that point, and started encrypting all the files at this healthcare business. And then at that point, they can't use anything, including their patient records. They don't know who's coming through the door today for an appointment, right? Never mind their medical history and prescription history. And they demanded a ransom. And you have to pay them in Bitcoin, right? I don't know about you, but how many people know right now how you go get Bitcoin? It's not just something you do, right? And if you don't pay it by a certain time, there's a countdown clock on your screen, the ransom goes up. Okay? And if you don't pay it, then they're threatening to release that information on the dark web. And it could be used by other criminals for all kinds of things. So that's one of the scenarios that happens. So it's really important to take.
What happened on that?
So in that case, they lost all their data. We couldn't get it back. They didn't have the right security controls, is the word, Linda, that you want to have in place in order to recover. You need, at a bare minimum, you need good backups that are disconnected and separate from your business internet connection, because they will go through the network. All your machines are tied together, so everybody can share information and get on the internet and share resources. So they go through your network connection and encrypt everything. And in their case, their backups were on an external hard drive connected to one of the computers, and they encrypt that as well.
So how could you be sure that if you went and you put money in a Bitcoin and then paid the ransom, that they weren't going to use it on you again?
You can't be sure. And in many cases, I would say more than half of the time, even if you pay the ransom, you don't get your data back, or they then demand a second ransom to not release the data. Okay, they say, okay, we'll give you your data back for $57,000 or whatever it is, depending on the size of the business. It could be multiple millions, tens of millions. And
Buck 42 for us.
$1.42.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you think, but they'll find ways to do things. But they then would demand another ransom to not release your data, to the dark web. So you might have to, and in many cases, you pay the ransom and they don't even give you your files back. So they're criminals, right?
Did these people get the Bitcoin and pay the first ransom?
They tried, yeah.
Okay. Oh.
And what happens, it's kind of a race, okay? The FBI and other agencies and security companies in the U.S. are trying to shut these systems off, right? So it doesn't impact our economy and our businesses. And if you get attacked with ransomware, and then the FBI within a week or two shuts that ring down or figures out who it is because they're attacking many businesses, that payment may not get to the bad guy to get the key to recover your data. So in many cases, that happens as well. And in the first early days of ransomware, you would make the payment in Bitcoin, and another hacker hacked the first hacker and stole the transaction, the Bitcoin, while it was in transit. So the bad guys had to secure their systems even better. So it's this crazy world out there. But the bottom line is, if you're a business owner or a manager at a business, you need to take cybersecurity seriously. You need to be looking at what we call a security and risk assessment, which there's a formal process for this, and we come in, and we're other companies like Apex, and we can identify what are your critical systems, what kind of security controls do you have in place, what should you have in place so that you can avoid getting this in the first place. And then if it does happen, you don't have to pay the ransom. We can recover the data quickly. That's the key.
The big thing, I guess, then would be having something completely divorced from your system as a backup.
Yeah.
And that doesn't count as the cloud.
Exactly.
Does the cloud count?
The cloud can count. You just have to do it the right way. So the technology we deploy, we have a local backup on site. We retain 36 months of backups. For quick recovery if you have a normal incident, a server crashes or, non-ransomware.
Which happens a lot,
too.
People lose all their stuff because of that, not necessarily because they've been hacked.
Right, or somebody accidentally deletes something. We want to be able to recover that within minutes, right?
Yeah.
And not disrupt the business operations. But then, multiple times a day or nightly, we synchronize that to a secure cloud data center. And that's all encrypted at rest on the local business, in transit, and in the cloud data center. and only we have the security keys for that. And then it's using a storage technology called immutable storage, which means for the first 90 days, nobody can change that backup. It's read-only, essentially. So even if the bad guy gets in there and encrypts files, they cannot encrypt those backup files. And the backup system is not on the network in the normal way. So the way they go through your network and find everything, they won't find even the local backup server. So
this is and I said some people will go, okay, he lost me at computer, but having that capability, and especially if doctors' offices, hospitals, universities,
police departments.
Police departments, because I've heard of police departments being hacked like that too.
Yes, absolutely.
And you would say, well, that must be embarrassing. No, not necessarily, because you think you've got a system in place.
Right.
Are most of these hackers from overseas?
Most of them are from Eastern
Russia? Yeah.
Europe, Russia, countries over there, or China. China's a huge
Another
one.
reason
and
to nuke
Iran.
them. Another reason to nuke them. No, I just was kidding on that. I was. Okay. Yeah. And so most of them come from out of country.
Yes.
And once it gets into that Bitcoin,
yeah,
it's gone.
Yeah, it's not, you can't really recover it. So yeah, like Linda mentioned, we've been doing a series of presentations jointly with the FBI. Mark Coopwood, who we can talk about, he's a former police chief of Beverly Hills that we hired for our public sector division. We have a lot of small city governments. They're in that same situation. If you're a small city, let's say 50,000 population and under, you don't really have a budget to build a team with all of these experts, including the cybersecurity team. So we do a lot of small city governments as well.
Okay.
And they have police departments and sensitive records and all of that.
I know. What can an individual do? They may have their own little small business besides call you guys.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about having you guys come in and then doing one. Then we could talk about what you do. For a business. our business is not at the level that is really worried too much about this. But but if you see, here you need this, or this is a firewall. Firewalls really. Are they
firewalls? Yeah, firewalls are a good key step. That's what we call that protects the perimeter. So the firewall is what all the traffic goes in and out of your business. So you want to have a good one. The one you get for free with your internet provider is generally not very secure. They're very easy to hack. So you want a good third party. They're called next gen firewalls. They have capabilities to inspect traffic in a much deeper level. And there's a security service that goes along with it. You have to pay for a subscription, a couple $100 every few years. But it's downloading the latest updates to protect you against the latest threats. It's looking for traffic in and out and inspecting all of that. So that's one of the key components. Is you want to have a good, up-to-date firewall. But you also want to have other things. Okay, one of the number one things we do is cybersecurity end user awareness training.
Okay. Now I want you to stop right there, because we're going to take a break. And then so when we come back, we're going to talk about the number one thing you can do for your company. This portion of the show brought to you by Shasta Regional Medical Center. Shasta Regional Medical Center, one of the top 50 hospitals in the United States for cardiovascular assistance. They are on the cutting edge of so many things. The TAVR valve replacement system, where you can have the valve in your heart replaced without having your chest opened up. The Da Vinci Xi surgical robotic system, which means it's less intrusive, less invasive. Thank you. Faster recovery times. The Guardian system to kind of give you a heads up if you might be getting ready for a heart attack. They've got all these things. Plus, they've brought in 13 new doctors in their residency program that is going to continue on, bringing in, by the time it finishes, it's going to have something like 30 doctors working in the hospital and clinics around Redding. Shasta Regional Medical Center. Healing starts here. We'll be right back. With Carl and Linda Bott. 24th of January, 2024, 7:50 in the morning, 52 degrees. It's going to be raining all day. And our guest is George Pasadakis. Did I get it close?
Pasadakis.
There we go.
Close enough.
He's the head guy when it comes to Apex Management, when it comes to sales and marketing. And a great guy to have on. Plus, his son was a Marine. And I was honored that y'all asked me to talk to him and your wife about being in the Marine Corps and all this before he left.
That was very helpful.
Had he already enlisted at that point?
He was, the recruiters had him, but we wouldn't let him sign. I told the recruiter, he's still 17. He can't sign unless we authorize it.
That's right.
So you got to work through me first. So we worked through that. And
it was a great conversation. He's a fine young man. I didn't realize, if you had asked me, I said, yeah, that was 2 years ago. No, he has already done his 4 years. He's had 2 pumps overseas, and now he's going to college in Southern Oregon, using his GI Bill.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, it's working out great for him.
It is, and I am so happy for him, and please pass on my congratulations.
I will. Thank you.
Now, George is here with Apex Technology Management, who just won a very prestigious award over everybody, 40,000 other companies about IT management. And this could be this is going to have to bring you back again because of the security, and everybody's heard about people having their systems, larger companies usually, and they don't go after small ones because they want the big bucks. Going after companies and taking their information and holding it for ransom. I mean, literally holding it for ransom. And some of these bigger companies, you're talking millions. Local company around here was like $500,000.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a big jump. So, and then what you all do to put it in place, and for that, plus the fact it's all your IT management tools that you need, that you just, you've got a company that you've been growing, and you just can't really bring in your own IT team to do it correctly. I mean, okay, yeah, my computer, I can't get on my computer. So you've got your IT guy. That's what he can do, but he can't do the big stuff. So they come to you all to manage all of that, and you've got hundreds of clients.
Right.
So AI. I just love AI.
Right.
I mean, the subject of AI, because I went to Chat GPT,
yep.
and I put in 30-second radio commercial, and I put some information in there. It wrote the commercial exactly 30 seconds. Great commercial.
Yeah.
Because it used basic stuff like that.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I mean, but tell us about AI.
The deep dive that's going to happen.
Because we're going to bring you back again, by the way.
Yeah.
How dangerous is it?
AI is great technology. To me, it's not this brand new thing. It's just software has been advancing. It's just much more advanced software that can access multiple sources of information very quickly in new ways. So there's many benefits to AI. With any technology, there's huge, tremendous benefits, but there's also some downsides. There's always bad guys out there trying to take advantage of it and it gives them more tools to do it. So what Linda was mentioning, and we were talking about on the break, is the deep fake. Okay? So AI can be used, it's very powerful, to simulate your voices and your video images. Okay? This is one of the big things we're worried about in the next 2 to 5 years. You're going to see this, where right now they can sample my voice, your voice, your mother's voice, your children's voice, by a few sentences of audio that they can get from social media, from anywhere, recording you.
How about from the
radio? Calling your phone at home and talking to you from the radio. And then they can basically create a conversation that's you talking, but it's not really you, and then say whatever they want.
Is it that good that you? I mean, because like there's a weird pause or a weird word.
It's getting to the point where you won't be able to detect it. So that's why I'm saying it's a few years out, and it's going to keep advancing, and you won't be able to. And then it's video as well. You're going to get a FaceTime call if you have an iPhone from one of your children, and it's going to be them talking to you. I need $500.
I've been arrested in Mexico.
Whatever it is, right? And so it's just another aspect of you have to be skeptical about everything that comes your way, unfortunately, right?
Well, they're also talking about taking, here comes intellectual property, taking people that are dead and putting them in movies.
Or using their identity. Sometimes people's credit files aren't closed when they pass away. I mean, and they can take advantage of that and create credit in that and basically take money they shouldn't have. So So, one of the things at a personal level, this is Apex, we handle businesses, but everybody on the radio now listening to this, my suggestion is freeze your credit. Okay. It's very easy to do. It's not identity theft protection that you pay monthly for. This is free now because everybody's been breached. So you want to freeze your credit with the 3 main credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. These are the companies that have all the credit profile of you out there. Every bank account you have, every credit card, every auto loan, everything. And you can go to, my suggestion is go to Clark.com. Clark Howard is a really well-known consumer advocate.
Yes.
Go to Clark.com, his website, and look for their guide to freezing your credit. It's very easy. You can do it in 15 minutes. And now nobody, including you, can open up new credit in your name. And unless you thaw it or unfreeze it, which is very easy to do, a couple of minutes. So if my credit's been frozen for years, right? If we need to go finance a car or something or get a new credit card, I thaw my credit, I go apply for it, and then once I have it, I refreeze it. And that period that I'm unfrozen, I'm paranoid that somebody's going to hack me, right? That's how bad it is.
Well, George, what about this is, every so often you get your card hacked.
Yeah.
So you kill that card and they issue you another one. Do you have to unfreeze your credit for that?
No.
Okay,
they already have your credit.
They've already got it.
While your credit's frozen, everything, your auto loans, everything still works. Your credit cards, it's just getting new credit in your name that's blocked.
Here's a scary thought. A very good friend of mine, her mother passed away, and she cannot get the death certificate for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The scary thought is in those 3 weeks, if AI is doing the deep dive, not just, across anybody, there's money sitting there she can't get a hold of until the death certificate in order to move funds around.
Right. Yeah. You have to wait. My father passed away in September, and it took a while for me to get the death certificate. And, I got on all his accounts and I was just monitoring everything to make sure nothing was going on. And, then you got will and probate and all that.
This is really a good, my friends, if you, I hope you listened to this and wrote it down, but freezing your credit doesn't hurt your credit score, anything like that. And you go to Clark.com and a guide to freezing credit.
Yep. Free.
Go out and freeze your credit. That keeps other people from, jumping in and using your,
if your social security number gets hacked in a breach of a medical office, they're going to try and open credit, but it's going to fail.
I've gotten, you get letters once a year, at least.
Yeah.
Our whole mortgage company got breached.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's this funny twist. Equifax, one of these credit bureaus I told you to freeze your credit with, they were breached 4 or 5 years ago. 238 American adults, which is, what's the population? 330 million, were breached. Your credit profile is out there. So, even these guys get hacked and breached. So you want to have that protection. That's very worthwhile, from an individual standpoint.
Okay. If people are saying, you know what, I didn't realize we had this here, and the company's growing. How do people get a hold of you, George?
Very easy. You can just go to apex.com, apex.com, and that's our website. And there's a contact us page there, or you can call, our number, which is right on the website, or my number, which is 530-248-1015. Again, we target, we work with businesses 20 to 200 employees is our sweet spot. Especially if you just want to know where you are from a cybersecurity standpoint, there's some things we call offensive security, right? You want all the defensive layers in place to protect you and your business, but there's offensive tools that we use. So, Apex has a security and risk assessment we can do and come in and evaluate your business on where you are with cybersecurity. And then we do hacking. We have ethical hackers. We test your business. What are your defenses? How are they working? Are they enough? And we can try all the things the bad guys do and see how they would fare.
We must have you back.
Yeah, we must have you back. Is that okay?
Anytime, yeah.
Okay. Well, I've got all the information.
Our people will talk to your people.
Well,
then your people can get back to our people.
That would be me talking to you.
Okay.
So,
we'll do it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
George
me. Appreciate it.
Papadakis here. Okay. Hey, when we come back, we've got Stephanie Bridget, Shasta County DA, joining us.
KCNR, Shasta Redding.